Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk live from Los Angeles, our first ever Saturday evening show. Why? Why are we here on a Saturday night? Anybody? Can you help me? Because it's Oscars Eve. Finally, after talking about these films for literally, in some cases, an entire year, we have arrived on the doorstep of the Academy Awards tomorrow afternoon / evening here in Los Angeles down the street at the Dolby Theater. Now, we are going to go through tonight on our special MMT Spectacular. We're going to give you picks for all 23 categories, including things like Best Animated Short, because I know you all are ready for that. And Best Makeup and Hair. All of it's coming up. I want to mention this before we get into tonight's pick show. Tomorrow, live, the second the Oscars are over, we are live here on Midnight Movie Talk because we have a ton to talk about. If we have anything that we had last year, like the slap, then we're going to have even more to talk about other than a certain movie that I believe to be hellaciously overrated, winning a lot of Oscars tomorrow. Let's get into the picks again. All 23 categories coming up tonight. Your comments, reaction to my picks. Do you think they are accurate? Do you think that I'm crazy? We already know you think that. But let's get into it. We start with Best Actress. Here are your nominees: Cate Blanchett, Tar; Ana de Armas, Blonde; Andrea Riseborough, out of nowhere, literally from the depths of hell. Here she is, to Leslie. Michelle Williams, The Fabelmans, Laugh As You Wish. Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, you guys know, when I saw a certain film back in October, I raved about a performance in that certain film to the point where I said, this is a performance where we are watching a once-in-a-decade plus performance. We are watching someone who transcends acting and becomes the character to the point where you believe that you are watching a documentary. You know I'm talking about the one and only Tar and Cate Blanchett. Now, in the world of merit, which is the world that I inhabit, the world that I always will take with me into any movie evaluation or any performance evaluation, we are going to go with which of the 5 performances, or if we're just looking at a movie, what is the best here, period. Doesn't matter about anything other than who is the best in these 5. Who of these 5? So you guys know that there is not a question in my mind that the number one actress here is Cate Blanchett in Tar. That is my pick if I were picking the Oscars. But since I am not picking the Oscars, we roll to awardsace.com. That's what we're going to do throughout the night. We're going to go with your nominees and then roll to my predictions on Awards Ace. There's shocking. They're trying to sell me football shirts / soccer jerseys. Let's go to Best Actress. There it is. And who do we have winning? We have Michelle Yeoh winning Best Actress tomorrow night. I think that when you look at what she has in her pocket, she has SAG, most importantly. She has SAG. Now, Blanchett has BAFTA. That's the beauty of a lot of these races tomorrow. That's why I think tomorrow night's going to be one of the more interesting Oscars we've had in a while, certainly on the performance side. We have some wide open races where we really do not know who's going to win. It is a 50-50, 51-49 situation in a number of these, okay? And as such, I would love to see Blanchett win. I think she can win. It will not shock me if she wins. But we are doing tonight, we are putting our money, we're putting our stack of chips, our stack of screeners that is led tonight by Tar. Our stack of screeners is going on Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once, based on the SAG win, based on the shot that here's how a lot of people are thinking. Guess what? Cate Blanchett already has her Oscars. She doesn't need another one. And that's why we're going to say that Michelle Yeoh is winning. Our next category here tonight, bounce back to the Oscars and their website, and we roll to, we're not going to do all the big categories at once. That would be like we get just blow it all. No, we are going to go and bounce around very much like the show you're going to watch tomorrow. Let's do cinematography next. Our contenders, our nominees are as follows. All Quiet on the Western Front, Bardo, Elvis, Empire of Light, finally got something this award season, and then Tar, which we love. We love that selection of Florian Hofmeister in Tar because that is one of the best cinematography performances / efforts of the year. And in this situation, we roll back to awardsace.com and we go to cinematography. And we are going to, I had to find it. There it is. Here we go. Pop it up, roll down. Our winner is tomorrow night will be Elvis. Mandy Walker, one of the many FYC performances and candidates I got a chance to speak to over this long award season. Mandy Walker and what she was able to accomplish with this film, this is the right win for me, and this is who is going to win tomorrow on my board. If it is not Mandy, it's going to be All Quiet on the Western Front. So those are your top two for cinematography. We're going to roll the dice. We are going Elvis. Let's go to our next category tonight, which will be Best Supporting Actor. This is over. Now, there is one interesting thing here as we go to supporting actor. Here are the nominees. Brendan Gleeson, Brian Tyree Henry from Causeway. Finally, that film gets something. Best thing of that film is Brian. That's a beautiful pick. Judd Hirsch, that is a Grandpa Simpson, puts the hat on the rack and leaves. That's how fast that thing is. Barry Keoghan, you guys know my problems with Barry Keoghan. He overacts, he over-weirds it, just tone it back a little bit. And then we have Ke-Huy Quan, who is going to win this. Now, here's the thing. So as we pull up the winner, I don't even need to go to Awards Ace. It's there. We don't even need to go. This is just like one of these things that it's a lock. Now, here's the only situation that could prove interesting for K tomorrow. So when you look at him winning everywhere, there is a tendency for human beings to say, listen, this guy's won everywhere. Maybe it's time to give it to someone else. So if that's the case, let's bounce over to awardsace.com and let's pull up. I hope I have it right. If I haven't moved it, I'm going to move it as of tonight. Some of these are still fluid. I have Barry Keoghan in number 2, and that's who we have as number 2. But it's going to be Quan for the win. But if not, remember, we're going to do that if it's not Quan, it will be Keoghan. But again, Barry, please, going forward, would you please just dial back the extra eccentricities, right? Just take it down from a 10 to a 9, maybe a 9 to an 8.5. Bring it down. Bring down the weirdness and just ground yourself a little bit more. It's not like he's a bad actor. He just leans into it too hard. All right, our next category is going to be Best Score. Let's go back to the Oscars site. Let's go through who we have for Best Score. And I'm looking for it. Where is it? It's called Music. My bad. It's Music and then Original Score. Here we go. All Quiet on the Western Front, nominee 1. 2, Babylon. 3, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Out of Nowhere, Banshees of Inisherin, and The Fabelmans. Now, the pick here for me is maybe not everybody's pick, but I think that at the end of the day, none of these scores is the score that jumps out at you and says, this is the score. The score of the year is Empire of Light. Okay, it wasn't nominated. Reznor Ross were not nominated for Empire of Light or for Bones and All. Now, Empire of Light's the better of the two scores. It should have been here. But since we're going to go with the movie that maybe doesn't win very much tomorrow, I think this is the space, this is the place for, switch the tab, to Fabelmans and John Williams. It just makes sense in the spot. We'll take him there. Again, comments on all of this. I'm going to go through all 23 categories, and then we'll get into your comments. Whatever you want to rant about, whatever you want to tell me I'm wrong about, whatever you think I'm right about, come in and we debate. You guys know one thing we do here at MMT. I do not shy away. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you want to argue. I will argue with you. I will debate it with you as long as we're civil with one another, which sometimes I may break. Let's go to our next. Listen, I'm going on my own on this. This is my own deal. I know everybody else is the trendy pick for best original song is to say that it's going to be Natu Natu from RRR. Let's go over, before I get into my pick, let's go over our 5 nominees. They are, again, Diane Warren gets in again for a movie that nobody saw, Tell It Like a Woman, but she's there for the song Applause. I still haven't listened to it. Hold My Hand, Top Gun Maverick. Lift Me Up, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Natu Natu, Triple R. And then This Is Life from Everything Ever All at Once. Now, everyone's picking Natu Natu because it's won so many times, right? Let's go to awards ace and let's count the wins by Natu Natu in major competitions. Well, certainly it's Globes and Critics' Choice for that. So as such, you would say that's the one. No, we are sticking with what we said from day one when we saw this film because it's used in the film. Well, so is Natu Natu. But this is the film that needs to have the win here for me personally. My vote goes for Lady Gaga's Hold My Hand. This is where you're all going to come after me. You're all going to say, you're wrong. You don't know what you're doing. Fine, bring it. It's Natu Natu. I didn't say I dislike RR. I didn't tell you that I dislike Natu Natu. I've spoken with the composer and with SS and everybody in the film throughout award season, but it's Hold My Hand. It always has been for me. Let's go to Best Editing is next. We roll back to the Oscars site. I dial it up and we go to film editing. Here it is, nominees. Banshees of Inisherin. We have Elvis. We have Everything Everywhere All at Once. We have Tar and we have Top Gun Maverick. The winner here for me is going to be Top Gun Maverick. That is our pick. I think that makes the most sense here. It is a film that is masterful in its editing, and it's the number one pick on the board here. Top Gun Maverick is our pick for that. By the way, tonight's shirt is Wolverhampton. Why? Because it's Oscar gold. That's why. That's why we went with it tonight. It's always got a reason. It's not just some random thing. Well, maybe not always, but most of the time. Let's go to a small category. One that a lot of you are like, well, I didn't see any of these. So let's talk about this for just a short moment because I did see every one of these animated shorts. You look at the short films. We had The Boy, the Mole, The Fox, and the Horse. We had The Flying Sailor. We have Ice Merchants, My Year of Dicks, and An Ostrich Told Me the World is Fake, and I think I believe it. Now, for my pick, it's Ostrich. It's a Lego movie-esque film, and it's my favorite of these 5. Followed by, I would say, My Year of Dicks, and then I would probably go Ice Merchants. I would put The Boy, the Mole, The Fox, and the Horse because it's so sappy and so over the top in its, feel-good messaging that you almost want to vomit. But why are we picking The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse? It is an Apple film. Studios matter in the shorts categories. We're going to do it again right now in live action short. Let's pop it up. Our live action short is going to go to Disney for our pick. The nominees, Irish Goodbye, I like a lot, but it's not going to win. It did win BAFTA, but of course it's an Irish Goodbye, so it should. Evalu, super depressing. Le Papille, which I believe is how you say it. I don't even care. Night Ride, and then The Red Suitcase. My favorite of these is Red Suitcase. I think it's the best of these 5. Le Papille is definitely not the best of these films. It is way over long. It's like 38 minutes long for a short. Too long, okay? At 20 minutes, it might be decent. At 38, it's absurdly over long. But because it's the Disney entry here. Remember, we just talked about how studios matter. We are going to go with La Pupille. Let's go to, and then we'll get the shorts out of the way because I know you all are just riveted by the shorts. Let's go to documentary short. Here I am flying blind. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I did not get around to a single one of these documentary shorts this year. When you're watching hundreds of films a year, okay, I'm talking not just awards films. You're talking every basic major Hollywood release, plus trying to get to every indie that you possibly can. You're not going to get to everything, and I didn't get to the doc shorts. I apologize, half-assly. The Elephant Whisperers, why? Because it's a Netflix entry. The studio matters here. Netflix is going to push it hard. It's the winner, okay? That's how we're going to do it. Let's roll next to a biggie. It is Best Actor. And before I put the name up there of who I think is going to win, this is another one of our super tight races. Okay. Our nominees are as follows: Austin Butler, Colin Farrell, Brendan Fraser, Paul Mescal, and Bill Nye. Now, when you look at this from the beginning of award season, you guys know I was telling you the whole time, it's Austin Butler who deserves a nomination, but now as you really feel and think about every performance you saw throughout the year, you go back to and you say, remember, degree of difficulty matters. When we're picking for our acting, we need to know that the performance was very hard because, well, I mean, it doesn't have to be very hard, but if it's between two people, and we go back to Best Actress, and you look at what Cate Blanchett had to do and what Michelle Kwan had to do, I actually like Michelle Kwan a lot in the EAO. I think she's the number one thing. If you're going to draft something, right? I always look at films as the draft, the NFL draft. What element am I drafting out of EEAO at the top of the board? It certainly isn't the Daniels direction. It isn't screenplay. It is Michelle Kwan. In this case, the number one performance of the year is Austin Butler and Elvis on the actor side of things. And by the way, let's get into it in a little bit about the whole genderless, thing that the Academy's. Can you imagine if they do that? That'll be the instant death of the Oscars. I mean, the instant death. Here it is. Our best actor is going to be Brendan Fraser. Why? Why is Brendan Fraser? You guys know how much I disdain The Whale. I think it's the worst awards film that we have seen in the race in numerous years. I mean, I have to go back and really think about a film as putrid as The Whale. But, and by the way, I was vindicated. No question, I was proven correct by the fact that it didn't make screenplay. It didn't make picture. Didn't get anything, right, outside of this. Right? It was just like, here, we'll give The Whale here in makeup. Because it's terrible. The Whale is, it's embarrassingly awful. It's one of the worst films that I've ever seen during award season. But yet, why is Brendan Fraser going to win? Here is why Brendan Fraser is going to win. Brendan Fraser is going to win because Hollywood loves a good narrative. And they love a comeback. And that's what this is. This is not necessarily about Brendan Fraser's performance, even though it is a strong performance in a horrible movie. But the narrative and the return of Brendan Fraser is what gives Austin Butler the disadvantage here. Okay? Now, the other thing that's an advantage for Fraser is up there in years versus Austin Butler, who surprisingly is in his early 30s. I thought he was like 27 or something. He looks younger, but either way, he's got many years, right? He is going to be a huge actor for us for at least a decade or probably longer after watching Elvis. That's why it's going to be Brendan Fraser, because of that narrative. Let's go to Best Supporting Actress, and then we'll take some comments. We'll take a pause, and we'll go to some comments, and then we'll finish up the board, because we've been gunning through these. A lot of these Oscar pick shows, you got to sit through like 2 hours of someone going, let's go through each of the individual merits of the costume, and people are like, holy shit, just say who's going to win. Just say it. All right, let's go back and let's do our last one here tonight before we get to comments, not the last of the night. Let's do a biggie, and then we take our break. We take our intermission. Actress in supporting role. This is going to be, of course, Hong Chow got the nomination for The Whale. Okay, so that's The Whale's other thing. Here we go. This is going to be another very fascinating race because we have an extremely close race here between the top 3. Okay. Look at Angela Bassett, Black Panther. Early on, it looked like she was going to run away with this thing. SAG and Critics' Choice, and she was winning just virtually everywhere. And then all of a sudden, we had BAFTA with Kerry Condon. And then you had Jamie Lee Curtis with SAG, which was big, right? That's a big signal because SAG makes up the majority of Oscar voters. Actors do. Okay, Hong Chow, obviously no chance. Stephanie, another time. Not going to happen for you either. So when we look at Jamie Lee versus Kerry versus Angela, I am going to stick to who I've said. It's going to be, when they started kicking off award season, I didn't know how it's going to shake out. But then once you started to feel this narrative building and the wins start to pack up, I'm not going to waver on this. I'm sticking with Angela Bassett for Best Supporting Actress. All right, let's take our intermission. Let's go to the comments. We got a bunch here. Let's go to it on this Saturday night. The first ever Saturday night MMT. Welcome to the show. Tomorrow night, post-game show is going to be amazing. The best part about the post-game show is that we can react to everything that we saw with the wins, right? Tonight, we're just speculating. We're trying to figure out who is going to win the most, and we're going to finish up with picture and director at the end, obviously. It looks like a very strong night for everything everywhere, which is not what I want to see. So tomorrow, if that happens, oh yeah, Maltseeds, Blanchett or bust. I would agree with you. I mean, Blanchett is once in a decade plus performance. We talked about it. Go back and watch the stream from October. My reaction coming out of the theater to Tar. I told you that night, you have to go back over a decade, going back to winners of Best Actress, and Cate Blanchett beats them, every single one of them, until you get to the Iron Lady and Meryl Streep. That's the last time that we had a chance where you put the two of them together. Cate Blanchett versus Meryl Streep and the Iron Lady. We actually have a fight. Every other year, it's not a contest, including Blue Jasmine. This is a much stronger performance for Cate Blanchett. But it's going to probably be Michelle Yeoh because of the narrative that Kate has hers and Michelle's coming on. It'd be interesting to see what happens with that whole, remember she shared the article that basically said that earlier this week on Instagram. She took that little quote, put it on there saying, hey, listen, Cate Blanchett already has hers. I don't know who told her to do that. I don't know who told Yo to do that, but that was wow. I mean, that's why it was deleted so fast, is because it was like, as a PR thing, you're like, what are you doing, Michelle? Gore, good to see you again tonight. I just saw you like literally less than an hour ago. We were having beers at Yard House after watching Champions. I love Champions. It is such a feel-good movie. It's just pure joy. So if you have something you want to, if you want to go see a movie this weekend that's going to bring a lot of enjoyment and I would dare I say love into your life, go check out Champions. In a world that was so just full of hate and just nastiness, this is a film that just makes you feel joy. And I think that's what we need. So go check out that film. It's great. Champions. I really enjoyed it. Everyone gets an Oscar day. I mean, it could be that. It could be that. Roy Scheider voice. It's showtime, folks. That's right. Here we go. You got it, Goober. You nailed it. I want to mention this too before we go into three more picks here. Tomorrow, Film Threat Oscars Watch Party. I'll be coming on the show during the show. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to join, but I'm going to come in and watch along with Gore for a little while and the crew, and then I'm going to roll out to do my show tomorrow night, post-game show, which should be fun. Justice for Nope should have been nominated for cinematography and screenplay. You're missing the one it really should be, Soundfig. Sound. I can't go with screenplay. You guys know my problems with Gordy. I can't do that. Gordy does not gel, does not coalesce, does not fit into that film like it should. And I it's not that I don't like the concept. I think the Gordy scenes are arguably the best. The problem is it does not seamlessly work into the film where you feel a need to have Gordy. I've said this. If you remove Gordy from Nope, the movie's virtually the same movie. Now, I concede that those scenes with Gordy are gone, but I'm talking about the actual narrative of the film is virtually left intact without Gordy, so I can't do that. But I love that you love the film. I mean, I'm a fan of the film. I really did like Jordan Peele. I mean, it's better for me. It's better than Get Out for me. I mean, I think I still like Us a little more than Nope. It's probably tied. I'm not a huge Get Out guy, but the fact you like it, I totally understand. Blanchett, let's hope, guys. I mean, let's really do. I mean, it's not that we don't dislike Michelle Yeoh. We mentioned that I think that this is the best thing about Everything Everywhere is Michelle Yeoh, but you don't leave a once-in-a-generation performance on the sideline. Once in a decade, let's just leave it at that. Once-in-a-decade performance, okay? Because it is. And you can't leave that as the non-winner because someone already has Oscars or because, it feels better for someone else. I don't want to live in a world, okay, where we are giving things to people because we feel bad for them. I want to live in a world where we hand people awards for being good, for deserving it, for merit, right? I mean, I don't understand. There's no other way to look at it. And, I've railed on this so many times on this show. And you guys, no one's ever come on and discussed it with me because they know they have no leg to stand on, right? when we say that we look at every person and every film from a very absolutely objective, flat, zero plate, we are at zero and we are going to go from there. Nothing about the person matters. The sex, the race, the religion, whatever, the pronouns. Who cares? None of it matters. Were you good or not? Merit. And you guys know, I'm right. I mean, there's no argument to that. There's no argument. Merit wins every time. Not to Raja. I'm glad you love this, the film. I'm glad you love the song. I'm just telling you, for me, it's Hold My Hand, because I think Top Gun Maverick is not just about the film Top Gun Maverick. It's about what that film did for my number one thing, theatrical. Tonight, sitting there with Gore, watching Champions in a darkened theater. You can't beat a theater. You can't watch Champions at home and have the same experience that you have at the Burbank 6. Certainly at the Burbank 6, the underground bunker of theaters, but you just can't. And Top Gun Maverick brought so many people back to movie theaters that were MIA after COVID. They were scared. I don't know about that. So they came back, and then Elvis helped as well. Let's go to some more picks, then we go back to comments. Here we go. Let's go with the next category on the docket. We will do best visual effects. Let's go through. This is a no-brainer. I mean, I don't even know why I'm even bothering putting up the nominees, because it's all quiet. It's Avatar 2, Batman, Wakanda, and Maverick. It is going to be, without question, Avatar 2. So Avatar 2 wins visual effects. That one's over. There's not even anything to discuss with this at all. Let's go to our next category, which will be original screenplay. This is going to be another really fun one. This is going to be, right, it's a telling category. When whatever wins here, you're going to instantly bump up, okay, in Best Picture, because we know how often screenplay is tied directly to Best Picture. You just go back a year, Coda. You don't have to go far, okay? So we know, and over the history, it's repeated so many times in history. So because of that, we're going to watch this closely, but due to the fact that Everything Everywhere just won WGA, the fact that it is picking up momentum, it feels like certainly rolling into the Oscars. Best Original Screenplay. I had this Banshees up until literally the last minute. I am going to flip this to Everything Everywhere at the end, because I just believe, as much as Tar is a far superior screenplay, and so is, I'm no, not Banshees. I would actually have them rated about the same. I mean, Banshees, the issue with Banshees is once we start removing fingers, once the digits fly, it's over. You're out of the film. Okay, it destroys it, wrecks it. Everything Everywhere, you guys know what wrecks it for me: the back end, the repetition. But it's going to win. Very likely, I'm going to put the money. Remember, the stack of chips, the stack of screeners is going on right now. Everything Everywhere all at once. Best Adapted Screenplay. This looks like this is another cakewalk. This is another walk, a chalk, as it were, for the original screenplay. Let's go to, hold on, let me get to, where is it? Adapted. Boom, let's do it. Okay, so adapted screenplay looks like this. We got All Quiet, we got Glass Onion, we got Living, we got Maverick, and we got Women Talking, based on the precursors, based on the fact that I love this film. This is a film that I wish were more in play in certainly other categories, such as supporting actors. How in the hell did Claire Foy and Jessie Buckley, neither of them, get a supporting actress nomination? How does that happen? I mean, that is a really effed up world when that happens. Best Adapted Screenplay goes to Women Talking. Let's go production design. Production design's next. For those of you who don't know what production design is, the short and long of it is world building. Okay, world building. And when you look at the world building on All Quiet on the Western Front, we have Avatar, Babylon, Elvis, and Fabelmans. What do you notice about those things? Remember this: whenever there's a period piece, you got a production design player, right? Because you had to put the thing in the past, which is production design, which is world building. That's why you have 4 of the 5 here set in the past and the other one set in the future. Okay. So obviously these are all worthy. Even if I don't love Babylon, you had to create 1920s Hollywood. So yes, that is production design. That said, we are going to go with, this is a run here, we're going to see in a minute, on Elvis. We're putting the money on Elvis. When you talk about 3 different decades, I was talking to Mandy Walker, cinematography, who we have winning tomorrow. When I was talking to her about this shoot, she said it was just exhaustive. Just the work that went into the detailing of the decades of Elvis, beyond Austin Butler's performance, but what Baz had to build the world of Elvis Presley. It is an absolute achievement that is worthy of Oscar. So it's not only my pick, but I believe it's going to be the winner tomorrow night. This is an interesting one for me. Documentaries up next. And I'll tell you, the thing that makes documentary hard for me almost every single year is the fact that one of the best films is left out, if not the best. And when we look at the nominees, All That Breathes, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Two Alls, Fire of Love, A House Made of Splinters, and Naval Knee. When you look at these films, there's one that's missing that should be here. And you guys all come in the comments, and you guys know what film I've been raving about forever. If you didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, I'm very sorry for you, because you really did miss an experience that is transcendental. You transcend, almost a spiritual element to that film, and it's Moon Age Daydream. It's not here. Based on the fact that Naval Knee just won PGA, we're going to go with that here. That said, Fire of Love, they have been pushing. They have a gigantic Fire of Love billboard on Sunset Boulevard. Disney/Nat Geo is pushing the shit out of that neon. Also, they have all these studios on this thing. Fire of Love would not surprise me. We'll go with Naval Knee. Let's go Best Animated. This is going to be easy. There's really no reason to even go through these films, because the winner is so obvious. But let's do it. We have Pinocchio, Marcel, Puss in Boots, Sea Beast, and Turning Red. The winner here is Pinocchio. It always has been. Netflix has been looking for this thing forever. They've been like, can we get this? Can we get our Oscar for animated? They're going to get it this year. I called it way back when. And before it was out, you knew it was either going to be this or Wendell and Wild. Now, Wendell and Wild turned out to be not a great film. Okay? Didn't have anything. Look at Sea Beast got one. But Wendell and Wild just went flat. But Pinocchio didn't. Even though, someone called Pinocchio a masterpiece. I'm like, well, in artistry, but as a film, I don't think so. It's fine. It's fine. We've seen Pinocchio so many times. Don't tell me that Del Toro changed Pinocchio. There's slight alterations. It's not a completely new film or something. Not a re-envisioning of this film, reimagining. It's not that. Let's go to a Best International. And when we talk about snubs, right? You go back to Oscars morning here on MMT, and we said, what film was the number one film performance, the number one snub of the entire Oscars nominations? It was, in the comments, you guys know where I'm headed, Decision to Leave. The fact that Decision to Leave is not one of these 5 films is bizarre. Makes zero sense. It's incomprehensible. And especially when you see the other films, I finally got around to The Quiet Girl. The Quiet Girl is you talk about unremarkable. It is not remarkable in filmmaking. It's not remarkable in screenplay. The performance of the little girl is it's flat. It's not a great film. The fact that it's here is shocking. The fact that Decision to Leave is not here and The Quiet Girl makes you wonder. It makes you want to get out of awards. It makes me want to just leave, the whole realm of film, because what did I tell you? It's all about merit. And when you put The Quiet Girl up against Decision to Leave, it's not even, it'd be like an NBA team taking on, the Pee Wee League, the little 5-year-old kids. It's not even a contest. And we have The Quiet Girl sitting here. I've been waiting to rant about The Quiet Girl being, I would say, the most overrated nominee of any category whatsoever. Of any category here. It's going to be All Quiet on the Western Front. Now, I want to mention one thing here. Okay, so listen. This is going to be inside film. This is what we do, I think, better than anybody. This is Midnight Movie Talk. For those of you joining us, thank you for being here on a Saturday night for our Oscars Pick Show. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe if you haven't already. Let me say this. So, I love industry. I love talking about, things that most people don't think about. They just glance over it, or they don't even go there. I'm going to ask you a question here. All Quiet on the Western Front is going to win tomorrow. What benefits All Quiet on the Western Front winning more than removing the best film of the year in international. You literally eliminate your competition so they never show up, right? We've seen that in so many movies. The competition never arrives. They don't make it to the thing. Oh, well, you're the winner. That's what happened this year. I don't know what's going on with the Academy. I don't know who the nomination process goes through for international, but I'm telling you, it's fishy as hell. When you have a film like Decision to Leave not get a nomination, and RRR, let's throw that out there too, not getting India's submission, and then all of a sudden Netflix is like, oh, by the way, we're going to win. Well, of course you're going to win. You just removed two of the best films of the year, and you put it up against A Quiet Girl, the most overrated awards film of any of these films. Here comes the rant. I knew it would happen. And of all categories, this is the perfect MMT rant. It's in the category you'd never expect. Best International, because I love international film. Every year in, year out, you're going to get some of the best films of the year here. Not in Best Picture, here. Decision to Leave should be in Best Picture. It's a better film than Drive My Car, and Drive My Car got a Best Picture. So not only did Decision to Leave not get a Best Picture, it didn't get a Best International Feature. And then you have to say who benefits from that. Netflix does. Use that as you will. Also, Return to Seoul. Return to Seoul murders half of these films as well. Return to Seoul, Decision to Leave is absolutely on the same level as All Quiet on the Western Front. I would argue at a higher level because they are original films. So that's always going to beat a remake in my world, right? Both of those films are original films. It makes me furious that we are staring at The Quiet Girl. By the way, let me mention one other thing about The Quiet Girl, and I know my friend Paul Hardister will love this rant because we talked about this when we saw it together. The Quiet Girl is one of the most offensive movies I've ever watched because it takes you for an idiot. If you haven't seen it, you're not alone. I mean, very few people watch The Quiet Girl. The best part about The Quiet Girl is when they start to subtitle English. The Irish dad is speaking English, and there's subtitles at the bottom of the screen. I'm like, what the fuck are these on the screen for? Do you know why? Because I don't think this film even qualified. You have to have a percentage of your film be in a foreign language. It can't be in English language. So as such, they decided to go in there and put subtitles when there's English. So if you're just watching the film, you're like, there's subtitles. It'd be like having subtitles right now if you're not hard of hearing. Do you need them? It's insane. Quiet Girl. My God, what an overrated film. But All Quiet went. Okay, there's my rant. God, I love it. It's such a perfect MMT rant because it's not where you expected. You expected about everything everywhere. Instead, you got it about The Quiet Girl. That sums up this channel. For those of you who are new, like that is what we do here. We talk about niche things that when I say nobody else has ever had the discussion we just had about that. Nobody, not one person. You're only going to get that here in MMT, for good or bad. For good or bad. Let's go to costume design. This is a pretty easy one to pick. When you look at costume design, again, usually you're going to look at a period piece or a futuristic film, and that's what we have here. We have a period piece in Babylon. We have Wakanda, futuristic. We have comic book, whatever you want to call it. Elvis, past. Everything Everywhere, current. A little strange it's there, but there's definitely costumes in this film. And Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, we always get that random costume in a film that makes a ton of sense right there. All those costumes that are in all the dresses, and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Talk about a sappy movie. Oh my God, that movie. But it's Elvis, right? It's Elvis here. It has to be Elvis. You think about the costume, all the Elvis costumes. My God, look at remember the GIF that's going around. I don't care what you say. It's GIF. It's not GIF. When you look at that, when Austin's doing his thing and it's like all the color, like right there, that's a win. Just looking at that shot of going through all the different outfits, like there you go. There's your winner. And we'll just roll it right into makeup and hair. I'm going to go through the nominees because you guys it's makeup and hair. Exactly. It's Elvis over The Whale. Because The Whale's so putrid, so it's an abomination of a film. So we can't give it a win anywhere. You guys ready to do Best Director? So Best Director is going to be fun. Best Director it seems like it's locked, right? It seems like we know for sure that we are going to have the winners that we're going to have. And I say winners because we believe it's going to be two. Let's go through the nominees before we go to the win. And then you guys get ready because this is where you're probably going to lose it. Here we go. Best directing. We have McDonough, Banshees of Inisherin. No chance. Everything Everywhere. The Daniels, the front runner, right? The Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg. Tar, Todd Field, my pick. It's no contest. Triangle of Sadness and Oslin, no chance. I mean, that's just like he's here. Now, it'd be interesting if All Quiet on the Western Front was here, Berger was here, that would be interesting. That'd be a maybe, just maybe. But obviously, it's not going to happen with Triangle. It's not going to happen for Todd. I am going with Steven Spielberg. I went back and forth, and I still haven't even updated on Awards Ace because I still have the Daniels there. I know they won DGA. I know they have all these precursors going in. But we are nearing the end of the road for Steven Spielberg. We are just about over with him. We only have so much more time with him. And while I concede, and you guys know I'm one of the few that came out and said very early that The Fabelmans is bad. The Fabelmans is artificial film. It feels fake as hell. And I didn't like really virtually anything in it, from the performances to the screenplay to, except for, young Stevens, good. What's his name? Sammy. Yeah, he's good. The rest of the film's an abomination too. But here's the thing. It's better than The Whale. It's Steven Spielberg's final run. And he's making a movie about his life, even though it's not a good film. And at some point, the narrative shifts. It's just like Brendan Fraser we talked about earlier. This is a narrative play. This is a Steven Spielberg getting that final Oscar. Here he is. And maybe it is his final Oscar, right? We don't know. I mean, I know he's going to still do some films going forward. We get it. But the point is we're running out of time. So this is, I believe, maybe the last chance. That's how some of these voters are going to do it tomorrow. We're going to go Steven Spielberg for the win. Okay? And if it's the Daniels, I'm okay with that because that's my number 2. But I'm going to roll Steven Spielberg. We're going to roll the dice. You have to do it in some of these. You can't just play and say this is what's going to win. It's the obvious pick. Now, I don't want to do what I'm going to do next because we have arrived. We have arrived at Best Picture. You guys know that I don't want to do what I'm about to do. But let's go over the nominees first. All Quiet on the Western Front, Netflix. Like, come on, make it happen, Netflix. Which you guys know how I feel about Netflix films. They're not real films because they don't have theatrical attached to them. All Quiet's obviously a real film, but it doesn't have no major theatrical, so that's why we can hammer it, and we will continue to hammer Netflix until they figure it out. Avatar, no chance, 0. Banshee of Inisherin, chance, no question, there's a shot. Elvis, there's a shot, okay. Very likely not going to win, but there's a shot. Everything Everywhere, The Fabelmans, Tar, 0 chance, even though it's my number 1, no question. Maverick absolutely has a shot. Triangle of Sadness, 0% chance. Women Talking, 0.1% chance. I mean, if we were to stack these okay, let's do that. Before we get to the answer, what is, let's go over the odds, okay? Let's go over the 0% chance and rank them up. Okay, you guys ready? Here we go. I'm just going to put this up because we're at Best Picture. I don't want to tell you what I have yet. Okay. At 0% chance of winning is Triangle of Sadness. At 1% chance of winning is Women Talking. Followed by Avatar. I would say Avatar. Actually, I'm going to put Avatar at 9. I'm going to put Triangle of Sadness at 10. Avatar is the second least chance of winning. And then we're going to throw Women Talking in there. Okay. Then we're going to put Tar. Then we're going to put Avatar. Then this is where it gets interesting. This is where we have some fun, okay? Because I believe that All Quiet, even though it did win BAFTA, but I'm telling you, man, I don't want to see it happen, but, Netflix would love nothing more. We're going to leave it in play. We're going to leave Banshees very much in play as well. Obviously, Everything Everywhere, very much in play. And we're going to keep The Fabelmans in play too, but we're going to probably rank that the least of the next, okay? And then we're going to say it's going to be a fight at the top. It's going to be a fight at the top between All Quiet, Banshees, Everything, and Maverick. Okay? Those 4 films will duke it out. But at the end of the day, the biggest precursor of all, because it uses a preferential ballot just like the Oscars do, PGA. What film just won PGA? Our Best Picture tomorrow night, which, if this happens, tomorrow night's stream is going to be fun because you guys know how I feel about the film. Everything Everywhere All at Once is your winner of Best Picture tomorrow night. Now, as I say that, as I stick my stack of FYC screener chips on EEAAO. For the longest time, I had that stack on Maverick. I pinned it all, it hinged on PGA. Once Maverick, full of producers, right, that love Tom Cruise, have worked with Tom Cruise, that love Hollywood, did not go with Maverick. It's very, very difficult to continue to hold out hope for Maverick. Therefore, our best picture is Everything Ever All at Once. Now, if that happens tomorrow, and then we get to comments, because that's all 23 categories. If I missed one, let me know. I think I got all 23. If that happens tomorrow, we will have had the two most overrated films back to back. This will, now listen, we had some debate on Twitter asked earlier, if it wins, will it be the most overrated film that ever won Best Picture of, like Shakespeare in Love, and I get it, Crash, all these things. But here's the thing. The thing that we can't debate is between back-to-back years with Coda and if tomorrow it happens, Everything Everywhere, we will have two films that, in my estimation, are both certainly Coda. I mean, come on, guys. Especially with distance. Overrated films. And to have that 1-2 combination back-to-back years, it'll be the biggest overrated 1-2 of all time. All time. But it'll be fun tomorrow night. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm also like ready for it to end. Aren't you guys? Mark, wow, Coda over. Listen, Coda's story is very likable, right? I mean, I would argue, we just saw Champions here tonight. Gore and I did. I like Champions a lot more. It's a comedy. It's much. Here's the thing. The funny thing is, Champions is a better film than Coda. But yet no one's going to be talking about Champions at the end of the year for Best Picture. That's the world we live in now. Because you know why? We live in a world now where a cause, is part of the success. So if you're pushing a cause, then that's why we're going to like your film as well. I don't like that thinking. You guys know I just talked about merit. So of course I'm not going to like that thinking. I want to see the best film win, period. And to me, if I'm ranking my ballot, it's Tar followed by Top Gun Maverick. That's my ballot. It is a preferential ballot. So your preferences might be different. David, historical Oscars take. Cabaret should have won over Godfather in 72. Chicago winning Best Picture in 03 kind of made it for it, though. Fosse's the GOAT. Great comment, David. Here's what I'll say. When you go back and watch The Godfather, which I just saw in Dolby Cinema last year, they put it in there for a week at AMC. Amazing to watch that film again on a towering screen at Dolby Cinema, because the one in Burbank is huge. I mean, it is one of the biggest Dolby screens you'll ever see. You'll believe it's IMAX when you walk in there. That film is over long. I mean, there is not a question that film is at least 30 minutes over long, okay? And, when you go back and listen, I have not watched Cabaret in you talk about a long time. So when you look at the films that shouldn't have won, when you go back and you re-examine them, then these takes obviously make sense, because you watch one of the films, you realize this thing has holes. Just like a lot of you hammer Crash and whatever, Shakespeare in Love, right? Green Book, all these films that you go back over the years, you're like, this film didn't deserve Oscar. I think we can all agree on one thing, that one of the biggest travesties in the history of the Oscars is The Social Network losing to The King's Speech. Give me a like for that alone. I mean, that I would argue that's the number one most egregious mistake ever made by the Academy, because you're looking at a masterpiece of a film that is literally perfect in every way, shape, and form, and it loses to The King's Speech. And not just that, it doesn't even win like director or how is that possible? So that's why it's that way. Max, welcome to the channel again. And by the way, this is where I told you I'll pull you up. We'll absolutely talk about it. Give me 1 second. I have a little bit of tonight's beverage, Clear American. Love it. It's my favorite. Best seltzer water on planet Earth right there. You're absolutely joking. No, I'm not. Everything Everywhere is infinitely better than Coda. Okay. Everything Everywhere, if I had to rate the two films from a filmmaking perspective, I am definitely going to pick Everything Everywhere. Coda it does not have the direction of, I mean, of a movie of the week. It's so generic, the direction. Sean Hayter, you talk about an unremarkable film from a directorial standpoint. From a storytelling standpoint, yes, but from a technical and interesting standpoint, just the way that film moves and looks and feels outside of the story, it is generic central, and I can never go for a film like that. I don't care how much I like a film. Like, you even look at Champions, we just walked out of. Champions has fairly directed. When you look at this thing, you see them, so at least some artistry, the way it's shot, different angles. It takes place in, middle of nowhere. I think it's in Iowa. And the thing is that at least that has a little artistic value. Go back and watch Coda. It has like zero. I mean, zero artistic value whatsoever. So I would take Everything Everywhere. The problem with Everything Everywhere is that script and that back 30 minutes. So if you're asking me to say that a Best Picture has 30 minutes of it that needs to be literally chopped off the end of it, how is it Best Picture? How can you award Best Picture to something that needs to be edited by 1/3 down, at least 1/4 down? Okay. That is a real problem. Okay. That is a real issue. La La Land's better than Moonlight. A lot of people believe that. A lot of people will tell you that exact same thing. There's been a lot of films that we're going to obviously disagree on over the years. I mean, a lot of you don't think Tar is the masterpiece that I believe it is, which I don't understand at all. Like, at all. I mean, it's there. It's all right there. When you watch Tar, everything is in front of you that you want. Everything is there. Every element of that film is at elite plus level. Right? Whenever we look at a film, we're looking at the different elements. Is this average? Is this above average? Is elite? This is elite plus. Screenplay for sure. Direction, performances, elite plus. And I would say Everything Everywhere, performances would be the elite category for Everything Everywhere. It's a performance film, and the screenplay second. Screenplay is shit show on the back end of that. But the performances are very strong. I have no problem with Everything Everywhere winning an ensemble performance. That works. That makes sense. You have a lot of really strong performances in the movie, including Jamie Lee, Kay, and then you also have, Yo. They're great. But the screenplay is just not working for me. And I wish someone, we've said this so many times before, I just wish that someone would have told the Daniels, would have said, man, just cut 20 minutes out of your film. It's 225. Make this thing 145, 150. Why did no one talk to the Daniels about making your movie shorter? Like, how did no one at A24, they did test screenings of this movie. If I was at the test screen, I would have filled out that sheet and made it obvious. I would have, in all caps, the biggest. I was like, do you have a Sharpie that I can write in this box? No, sir, we only have pens. I need a Sharpie. This film is destroyed by its repetition at the end of the film. You need to cut 20 minutes off the back end, and you might have a really good film here. I would have gotten up and yelled at the Daniels who are behind me in the test screenings. I've been to test screening. I would have been so violently against the end of that film that I would have been restrained and taken out of the theater. Sir, you need to leave. I'm like, as I'm leaving, I'm like, you need to cut 20 minutes out. You need, right? I mean, that's literally me watching a test screen and Everything Everywhere. And you know what? I would have been right. I would have been 100% right. Thank you, David. Thank you for the G-Shock. it matches tonight's gold Wolverhampton kit / shirt. More comments here. No, I'm not kidding you. I just wish someone would have gotten in their faces and said, this movie's too long. I'm going to do that one day. They're going to pay me. They're going to pay me to walk up to a big director like, our good friend James Cameron. James, your film is, dude. I would just look at James and go, James, dude, your film is 3 hours and 12 minutes. You got to cut 45 minutes out of Avatar 2. 45 minutes of shit needs to get cut out of this film, or we're not going to release it. And I would storm out. I'd walk out. I would. You guys know I would. You think I'm afraid of James freaking can't? Screw that guy. Like, I give a crap. I'd walk right up to him and tell him his movie's too long. Nomadland, Mark. Nomadland is not overrated, and here's why. It is the exquisite craftsmanship of Chloe and what she does with that film. The minimal direction that we saw with the writer. It's almost the same, right? Watch the writer, watch Nomadland. It's like they're almost seamless, they look like the same film. I love the writer more than Nomadland. I will definitely say the writer is a stronger film. But what makes Nomadland the thing of beauty that it is that minimal direction. Now, when we talk about a film like Coda, you don't have that to fall back on. You have only the screenplay. You don't have any kind of artistic value to it whatsoever from a filmmaking perspective. And when we're picking Best Picture, right? We're picking Best Picture. We're not picking, the film that made us feel good. And Best Picture means best filmmaking combined with best screenplay. Now, by that standard, our two choices this year for Best Picture are my top two. Isn't that interesting how that works? Tar and Maverick. Because they have both the filmmaking and the screenplay. Now, the screenplay for Tar above, the filmmaking, listen, because of the effort, remember we talked about it. If two things are about the same, then we're going to go with the one that's harder. Degree of difficulty higher on making a Maverick than a Tar. So we're going to go screenplay Tar here, and then we'll go tech film here, Maverick. Therefore, we have a head-to-head Tar versus Maverick. I know I'm right. Those are the two best films of the year for different reasons, and that is why when we evaluate films, we are looking for both the filmmaking aspect combined with the screenplay. We're hoping that we get the perfect mesh of those two things together. That's what we're hoping for. And Everything Everywhere has good enough filmmaking and then a screenplay that is below. So then you're looking, see, this is why we're ranking it lower, because the filmmaking is not at a level of a Tar. It's not at a level of a Maverick. It's not a bad, I'd say it's a little, it's below those. And then the screenplay is going to be below that. So that's why Tar and Maverick are higher. They just, on a ranking board, they have to be higher. Everything Everywhere, guys, I never watched the film again. I don't need to watch it. My initial instincts on a film are typically dead on. And I'm telling you right now, I would have told the Daniels to lose 20 minutes. You got to lose 20 minutes, man. You got to. And you can't tell me it's a perfect film. Has anyone ever said, by the way, that Everything Everywhere is a perfect film? No, some idiot on film Twitter did. Some letterboxed only account. That's my favorite line from Screen 6, right? That line we talked about the other night. The people that pass around their personality as a letterbox versus an actual personality. But seriously, those people, but no one of any importance in the film world has ever said Everything Everywhere is a perfect film. I would argue Tar is a perfect film. I mean, it's as close as you're going to get. I mean, I didn't throw around masterpiece when I saw it, but having seen it twice, and this year the closest thing to a masterpiece we got was Tar. That's why not only was Sunset Circle, by the way, number one, calling that the best film of the year, who else followed after that? New York, LA, Chicago. First time we've seen that in how long? Forever. All three of the major critics groups in the big cities all said Tar's the best film. I'm not alone, guys. I called it when I came out of it. That's why you're here. That's why you're here, because you value that I am objective and I am 100% going to tell you what I believe to be the truth, not to follow a narrative or to follow, the right thing to do. Although I would argue that you could use that against me and Kate Blanchett. It's the right thing to do, but it's not the right thing to do because of a cause. It's the right thing to do because of merit. Now that is a whole different thing, right? The right thing to do is when you're doing it because it makes you feel good, or it's, we're going to check boxes, whatever you want to call it, woke. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the right thing to do because it's merit. Now, that is the right thing to do. If we're doing everything by merit, then we're doing life right, okay? Because I can tell you, having watched, we're at the bar tonight. Gore and I at the bar. We're watching NBA. We're watching the Warriors against, who the hell were they playing? The Mavericks. I don't know who the hell they're playing. Forget now. They're playing. And up there, Steph Curry's playing. And I'm looking, is Steph Curry the best shooting guard in the NBA? One of, if not the best. Is he there because he's checking a box? Or is he there because he drains threes like a robot? Is he there because he's one of the best shooters in the game? He's not there because he's checking a box. So why are we doing that in film? Why are we checking boxes in film if sports says the best plays? Why aren't we doing that in film? You're going to say because it's subjective, but it's not really. At the end of the day, you guys know, come in the comments, give me a like right now. You know that if you put Cate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh head to head in a ring and you evaluate their performances, and most importantly, if you have them evenly ranked, you go to degree of difficulty. In the comments, tell me right now, who wins? Blanchett. No contest. Blanchett. Therefore, that's who we're picking. That is called merit. That is how we're going to run our world. That's how it's always going to be here on MMT. We're never going to play the check the box, say the right thing. That's not how we do it. That's not how you should do it either. You shouldn't. You should always be looking for merit. I've never judged a single person based on their skin color, based on their sex, based on any of that shit. I base it on the quality of the human being. Period. There's no other way to do it. You guys know I'm right. I mean, there's not even anything else to say at that point. It's like mic drop. It's over. It's over. I mean, there's nothing more to say about what I just said. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate it. $2. Let's go a little bit longer. And then I'm freaking exhausted. And I got a stream to do tomorrow night that's more than likely going to go forever, because once we get these winners, I can rail about things. But I just want a little bit of love for the biggest rant of the night being about the quiet girl in International. It's such an MMT thing. The niche show talking about niche film things, and we pick on the film that no one talks about. That is quintessential MMT right here live from Los Angeles on this Saturday night. This is, by the way, a record for shows this week, and I don't blame you at this point. You're like, can we just not have any more MMT? Just bear with me for one more day. One more day. We have one more MMT. It's tomorrow night. It's the Oscar Spectacular, and I can put these films to bed. The other thing we're going to do tomorrow night, I want to mention this. We're going to talk about next year's Oscars. I have 9 categories ready to go tomorrow night on awardsace.com, my site. We're going to talk about the films that will be in contention next year, and not just some, a lot of the films, a lot of the performances. We have 9 categories to discuss. That's tomorrow on the postgame show. It's going to be fun. You judge them on muscle definition. Oh my God. It's true, Patrick. I'm not going to lie to you. This is the most acutely personal comment in the history of this channel. It's true. I do judge people based on their muscle definition. My God. Speaking of which, let's do... No, I'm not going to do physique critique and compare Michelle Yeoh to Cate Blanchett physically. That would be whack. The subtlety and reality behind Blanchett's performance is unbelievable, and that element of acting can be overlooked too often. That's what we said. If you missed the beginning of this Real Opinion, welcome to the channel, by the way. If you missed the beginning, go back and watch. We talk about Best Actress at the very beginning of the stream. What I said at that time was this. When you watch Tar, you are watching an actress become the character to the point that you actually believe Lydia Tarr is an actual person, and you are therefore, and this is why the beauty of Todd Field's direction, you're watching a documentary. It feels like a documentary in, the look and feel of that film. And then you have the performance that seals it, and you're like, am I watching, is this a real conductor? This isn't Cate Blanchett. This is actually Lydia Tarr. There's your winner. There's your winner. Sorry, Michelle, there'll be another chance for you, we hope, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to play a game where I don't know if Michelle Yeoh is going to get a nomination down the road. Therefore, we're going to give it to, nope. We're going to play who was the best, who had the hardest role. It's Lydia Tarr. It's Cate Blanchett. Done. Over. That's where the vote goes. Give me a like. Give me a comment. You guys know, even the Michelle Yeoh people know you're right. I don't know, Spencer. Listen, I said I'll run the stairs. By the way, good meeting you the other night. I met Spencer. I was at what movie was that? Oh, it was at Creed, I think. I walked out of Creed. Spencer comes out and goes, "Hey, can I get a picture?" I go, "Yeah, absolutely, Spencer." So here's the deal. I might be running the stairs, but not right after. We have to do a stream. But if Fabelmans, did I say Fabelmans? I believe I did. Remind me, please, Spencer. If Fabelmans wins Best Picture tomorrow, I have stated way long, forever ago, that if it wins Best Picture, I will run up and down the many stairs at the AMC 16 because I am so just infuriated that this film won. I will do it, but after the stream first, I'll put on my tights. Frankly, I'll probably already have them on, and I'll run up and down the stairs. And Spencer, you can meet me there and film it. We'll make a deal. If it wins, please God. Actually, I would rather have Everything Everywhere than Fablemans win because Fablemans is just, oh my God. Like Everything Everywhere to me is like a 6.5, maybe a 7, maybe a 7, maybe. Fablemans is a 4. The Whale is a 1. And I believe I had a 0 on Babylon, or was the Whale 0? They're really close. Magic Mike was a 0. Okay, it's Fableman's awesome. Okay, so it's Fableman's. All right, a few more minutes, then we're gonna roll out of here. If you missed some of the stream, go back. We have all the picks, and don't come back here tomorrow. Don't you dare come back here tomorrow. You missed this. Fine, I will openly admit this is a weird year. There's a lot of things. There's not, even though Everything Everywhere is the heavyweight, right? There's not like a guarantee on a lot of these. There are some categories like Best International, All Quiet, over. Animated, Pinocchio, over, right? Visual effects, Avatar, over. Supporting actor, Kwan, over. So these right? And then we start to move into things like editing. Top Gun Maverick, over. Okay. Score, open. Production design, very likely Elvis, but could be Babylon. So there's still some that are, so we mentioned the ones that are over. Then they have a bunch that are really in play. And I think what's most interesting part about tomorrow is I still believe pictures in play, directors absolutely in play, actor, actress, and supporting actress are all in play. We have not had an Oscars like this in a long time, where we actually have a number of films that we believe can win. Performances that could upset. I mean, we have a 3-way race in supporting. We have a 2-way race in both the acting categories, actor and actress, not actor, period, person in a role, a leading role. If the Oscars, let me rant for a moment, and then we'll do it tomorrow too. If the Oscars decide to do that thing that the Spirit Awards did, and I believe the New York Film Critics Circle did, best person, just stop virtue signaling. Don't do it. Don't appease the 5 people that want to see that happen. Here's what you do to those 5 people. You say, shut up. It's that simple. Here's what we're going to do. We hear you, but we're also going to turn it back to you and say, shut up. We're not going to do what you want us to. We're not going to bow to your demands. The more that happens in this world, the better we get maybe back on track, okay? Without getting into all the politics. There's too much of this. Like people come after me. Oh, you said this about Everything Everywhere. I got news for you. That's my opinion. Deal with it. I'm not going to turn on that. I'm not going to all of a sudden appease you guys. I mean, you guys are awesome, but the people, the people, the angry people that are offended by everything. I'm offended that you thought this was bad. You hate Everything Everywhere all at once because it's a movie that deals with the Asian community. Oh, that's right. Because I didn't have Parasite as the best film of 2019, and I would call that a masterpiece. And I didn't just come out of Decision to Leave and say it should be a best picture. I didn't just come out of last week, Return to Seoul, and say, oh my God, how did this film not get into Best International Feature and the actress who's unbelievable? Oh, wait, those are all films with all Asian casts. Oh, wait a second. Maybe he's not. That blows people's brains. You know why you can't nail me? Because I am objective. Because I told you how I run my life. It's merit. It's based on the quality of the person, not the skin color or the gender or the pronoun of the person. It's based on the person. Is the person of value? Is the person talented? Is the person meritorious of winning, not because they check a fucking box? It's terrible. If you think like that, you're a broken person. End of discussion. I'm not going to even bend on that. You're a broken person if you are somebody who believes that you need to check boxes. No, you need to become somebody who starts to value everybody the same, no matter who they are, whether it's the janitor or it's the CEO. They are people. We are all human beings. Damn, I can't stand the checkbox people. They're just miserable human beings. Says the white guy. The rant followed by the, because it's true, right? Said the white guy. Idiots. Damn idiots, man. CP Skunk, good to have you here again, by the way. Love the mashup. Maverick had some of the most layered and outstanding sound design. Oh my God, the sound, right? Sounds unbelievable in that film. Tar's completely fictional, right? Oh, we have this in here? Some people thought that it was based on a real composer. That's the magic of that. That is the magic of that film. I mean, it's Kate Blanchett has to win. If Kate Blanchett wins tomorrow, I don't care what else happens. Nothing else matters because she is the best actress of a decade plus. We need to have it happen tomorrow night. All right, last comments here before we roll out of here tomorrow night. Let's see. It's still COVID taint. Next year should be more normal. The TV rating will suck since viewers haven't seen the films. I think the ratings are going to be higher for two reasons. Great question at the end here. The ratings will be higher because you have Maverick that's actually in contention, not just nominated. It is in contention. I'm telling you it is. Okay. So it's there. And also, you have a situation where you have the slap, right? You're coming off of that. So I think between those two things, we're going to see a pretty big curiosity factor tomorrow night. Now, the problem with the show is going to be if it starts running too long, if Jimmy Kimmel comes out and starts preaching to Flyover America, as we like to call him, right? Even though I grew up in Flyover America, that's what everyone out here, somebody at the gym today said, yeah, I grew up in Ohio. Yeah, Flyover America. Yes, it is. Flyover country. Because that's how everyone thinks here. But if Jimmy Kimmel comes out and says, you like just offends everybody and starts pushing all these liberal talking points, then you're going to lose the audience. The ratings will go down right off the bat. It doesn't even matter what happened, right? It's kind of like you go back and look at the Golden Globes. You look at that monologue. That monologue was such a turnoff. I mean, literally a turnoff. It was literally like, let me grab the remote. It was a remote monologue. Goodbye. Well, no, Kevin, no one's saying people don't look at rays. I'm saying try to become someone who doesn't, right? And I can tell you, stack of Bibles, that I value people based on who they are and their character. And in the case of a voting situation on an acting, which I don't know the person, I'm going to vote on what I believe to be the best performance. That does not matter at all about skin color. It doesn't even enter in the conversation. We are looking at a Kate Blanchett the same way we were looking at a Viola Davis, the same way. Right? I mean, like I have to spell it out. It's the same. They're women. They're human beings, and I'm not gonna like start to say the Woman King's better than Tar, unless it's better. I mean, shocking. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, Solomon, that's it. It's all about merit, man. It's all about merit. It has to be. It has to be. The new Academy rules are put in place to appease Jada Pinkett Smith's Oscar so white. Oh yeah, that. I mean, there's that. I mean, I can't even. We'll do that tomorrow. Yes, I saw the Woman King. Real quickly, thoughts on the Woman King because I'm glad. Yes, of course, it's the Max. This is someone coming in like trying to get me. Here's the issue with the Woman King. The filmmaking in the Woman King is unspectacular. Okay. And I said before, it's not there are two female directors this year that had the best directorial efforts. If we're going to do this, if we're going to talk about female directors, which it doesn't matter because a director's director, right? A film is a film. It doesn't matter who directed it. But if you're going to talk about that, if you want to do that, there are two films this year directed by women that deserved to be in the best director category. It's not the Woman King. It's not. Okay. There are two. One, After Sun, and two, Women Talking. Those are your two. Okay. That's it. Based on merit. It's not a great film. It's not a bad film. It's just not a great film. It's not a best picture. It's just Woman King's not a best picture. For a film that should be that scope, it should be more. There should be more artistry in the filmmaking. It's lacking. It's absolutely lacking. The Elba screener's always been there. Always been there. It'll be there tomorrow night. But someone's like, "Did you see?" Of course, I love it. By the way, I love this comment. It's my favorite comment. This is like Max is coming in here going, "Wait a second, let's try to get." Did he even watch The Woman King? Yes, I watched The Woman King. and I forgot The Woman King as soon as it was over because it was that forgettable. Except that in Beru, the young girl was amazing in that film. She is great. In fact, I pushed her in supporting all year. We gave her a nomination on the Sunset Circle. I mean, she's fantastic in that film. Viola's typically great. I just, again, not a huge fan of The Woman King. It's fine. It's like a 7.5 out of 10. It's not an awards film. Not an awards film. Kimmel will not be able to help himself. That's the problem. We'll find out tomorrow. We're going to find out tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be really fun because we'll have a lot to talk about. We're going to have so many things to break down, and we will do that. Hopefully, we'll have some things that happen, obviously, within. Okay, got it. Yeah, no, okay. It's fine. You can do it. You can do it. Max, you can do it because I know people love to do that. They love because people listen. I'm not listen. People come after me. They just love to because I'm loudmouth. I'm opinionated, and I ultimately am all about merit, and that's going to piss some people off because they don't like that thinking. They want to see more of box checking mentality, and you're never going to get that from me ever. It'll never happen. Just never. So that's why. But yeah, no, The Woman King is just a very very average film. I think that's fair, very fair to that film. It's not a great film. And by the way, let's make this clear as we roll out of here, has nothing to do with the topic of the film. It has to do with the filmmaking and the overall impact, emotional impact of that film is just blunted at best. Okay, that's just it. So again, there are two films directed by women that if we were going to put in there, we are absolutely going to push and should be in that list. It's Women Talking and After Sun. Those are the two. Those are the two this year. In years past, it would be a Rose Glass, certainly. Chloe for The Rider. I mean, there's millions. I can't get into it now. There's billions. It's not like, again, we just look at directors as directors. That's it. It's that simple. Well, I don't know bass player. I don't even know, what the thing is. Well, I heard the story, yeah, but that's not even the issue, right? So Solomon, I don't even know. It's fun. I haven't really talked about The Woman King. I found it very interesting that people were pushing The Woman King as if it were a whole nother film. When you watch The Woman King, you just say to yourself, what? This is not a great film. This is not a bad film. It's not a great film. We need to stop elevating marginal film. And certainly from a filmmaking perspective, no. You don't see anything in the direction of that film that says this is exceptional. Okay. So we have before. I mean, well, look at Nia DaCosta, right? From Candyman. If you're going to go down that road, I can't believe we're doing this. I'm so tired. But look, Candyman, the direction of that film, okay? The choices that she makes, and I know a lot of people like, well, you said Jordan Peele. I said Jordan Peele wrote. She clearly directed it. But I love what Nia does for that. But when you watch Woman King, you just don't see anything that's special. You just don't. It's a very flat film at best. At best. And that's fair. I think it's very fair about The Woman King. And guess what? That's why it's not nominated. Ultimately, people know the difference between great, good, average, and bad. And that's why The Whale's not here. That's why the Babylon's not here. It's why The Woman King isn't here. Woman King's much better film than Whale or Babylon. I mean, that's okay. We're not gonna do that. But Woman King's better film than Fableman. But it's not, if I'm making a top 10 films, in fact, before I go, I'm going to do this. Let me go back. I'm going to go back and I want to do this real quick. Let's go to, I want to mention this. So this is Sunset Circle. As you guys may or may not know, this is our critics group that is, 9 strong. This was our top 10 films of the year for 2022. And I want to make sure this is clear. This was way back in early December. We picked these 10 films, and I am 100% confident in these. Along with me, there's one film I wouldn't, but the best film is Tar. That's what we picked. I believe it to be the best film. I'm happy with that decision. After Sun, Decision to Leave, Elvis, Everything Everywhere, The Menu, specifically the screenplay. RRR, She Said, the number one most jobbed film of this award season is She Said. No contest. Tar, Maverick, and Women Talking. Those are 10 films. I would suggest to you these 10 films here are better than the 10 films that we got at the Oscars this year. So, and guess what they're all about merit. Every one of these films is about merit because that's how we do it. That's how I'll always do it. Okay. Best director, Todd Field. And let's see, hold on. Let's go through real quickly. I haven't looked at this in a while. I forgot who we had. Let's go. Best director was Field. Best actor, Austin Butler. That was the right pick. Cate Blanchett, absolutely the right pick there. Supporting actor, Kwan. We had that early. There it is. We had Carey Mulligan, and She Said did not even get a nomination. Again, She Said, the number one most jobbed film, aside from Decision to Leave. Now, Decision to Leave didn't get it either. Okay, so we have She Said and Decision to Leave. Decision to Leave is better than She Said, but She Said is better than a lot of the films that are nominated. Best ensemble, Everything Everywhere, which is perfect because it goes to what I just said. I said that the best thing about that film is the acting. Screenplay, Tar. We only have one. There's no adapted and original. It's just one. It's Tar. Cinematography, Tar. Love that pick. Best score, Women Talking. And look who's there. By the way, I will take this score lineup over the Academy score lineup all day, every day. The Batman, Bones and All, Empire of Light, Pinocchio, and Women Talking. Women Talking winning. What Hildor did for that film, not Tar, Women Talking, and then you look at Empire of Light, Reznor Ross's score. Now, Empire of Light's not a great film, but I can tell you this, the score is one of the best of the year, and I don't care if the film's great. The film has issues. So do a lot of these films. Empire of Light's not a bad film. Best editing, Maverick. International feature, Triple R. I just say that now. X, best horror film. Hell yeah. Charlotte Wells, best, Five Fire directors, a younger director, either the first or second film. Charlotte Wells, easy. Scene Stealer was Pitt from Lost City. That's a fun little category. I will take these winners all day, every day. I think Sunset Circle kicks ass. All right, we're back here tomorrow night. Thank you guys for being here. We're back tomorrow. Don't forget, I want to mention that we have tomorrow Film Threat. During the Oscars, I'll be on with a motley crew of characters over on the Film Threat channel. Let me see if I can pull. I made a banner for this. I thought I did. Where is it? Give me a second. I thought I did. Gore, if he's still there. There it is. Film Threat Oscars show. I'll see you there. I'll be on that during the show. Okay. And then immediately following the Oscars, we go live. If the Oscars end at 7:15 West Coast time, actually, no, it'll be like 8. It'll be like 8:15 because you got to remember, it always goes up until almost midnight. I'd say 11:30. I'll bet you we're on tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30. So a half hour earlier than normal here on MMT. Normally we kick off at 9 o'clock, midnight on the East Coast, 9 o'clock here on the West Coast. We'll be early. When the Oscars are over, come on. I'll be ranting about Everything Everywhere winning Best Picture. I hope it doesn't happen because I believe that we have better choices out there, but it won't be the worst pick. I just think it'll be a very overrated pick. But if The Fabelmans wins, oh shit, that is going to be something. Now, I'm still taking Spielberg. I'm going to switch it right now. I'm going towards Ace. I'm going to fix it. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the MMT post-game show live from LA. Eric Weber saying good night. Happy Oscars viewing tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow night right here. As soon as the show ends, come here to MMT. We'll be live from Los Angeles. Good night.